4 seconds. This took 4 hours.
More people than ever are choosing the 4 hours. We want to show you why. We are living through the strangest cultural moment in human history. AI can now write your emails, generate your art, compose your music, code your software. You'd think that with all of this, people would be doing less. Instead, something unexpected is happening. Google searches for how to whittle, how to start Leathercraft, Pyrography for beginners, up 30, 40, 60%. People are going backwards, not because they have to, because they want to. I've been trying to understand why, and what we found surprised us. We spend on average 7 hours a day looking at screens. 7 hours, that's almost half of our waking lives. And here's what nobody talks about. That kind of attention is exhausting. Your brain is in a constant state of reactive attention, always responding, never initiating. That's why you can spend 8 hours at a computer and feel more tired than if you'd spent the same time hiking. In 1990, psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi published research on what he called flow state, a state of deep, focused engagement with a task that has a clear challenge and a clear result. Flow state produces dopamine. It reduces cortisol, the stress hormone. And making things with your hands is one of the most reliable ways to achieve it that humans have ever found. A knife, a piece of wood, a result you can hold. That's the complete opposite of a screen. But we don't think that's the whole story. There's something else happening, something cultural. For the first time in history, we have machines that can create, write novels, paint pictures, compose symphonies, and for a lot of people, that raises a question they've never had to ask before. What is the value of something made by a human? We think the handmade movement is at least partly an answer to that question. When everything can be generated, the things that are made slowly and perfectly by someone's actual hands become more meaningful, not less. We want to show you 3 people who figured this out in very different ways. Sarah works in digital marketing. She's on a computer 12 hours a day. For a long time, when she came home in the evening, she'd do what everyone does. Open Netflix, scroll Instagram, answer a few more emails. She was tired, but she couldn't actually rest. You know that feeling? Where you're exhausted, but you can't stop. She found a wood carving kit. Honestly, she bought it because it was $40 and figured she'd try it once and forget about it. That Sunday, she carved a little bird. It took 3 hours. It was honestly kind of ugly. She sat there and thought,
I made this with my hands. I made this.
She doesn't open Netflix at 9 p.m. anymore. She carves. What happened to Sarah isn't unusual. It's not even about carving specifically. It's about the need for what psychologists call productive rest. You can smell the wood, you can feel resistance, you can hear progress. You can't fake that. Marcus has been carving for 11 years. He's not here because carving helped him decompress. He's here because carving became something else entirely. When we asked him when he knew it was more than just a hobby, here's what he said.
When I realized that what I made couldn't exist without me making it.
Think about what you produce in a typical workday. Emails, spreadsheets, presentations, reports. Now ask yourself, could those have been produced by someone else? By software, by AI? For most knowledge workers, the honest answer is probably yes. When Marcus makes something, that exact object would not exist without him. His decisions, his mistakes, his corrections, his choices, it's his. Psychologists call it the IKEA effect. Research shows that people value things they've made themselves significantly more than identical things someone else made. Not because they're better, sometimes they're objectively worse, but because they made them. In the age of AI, we think the IKEA effect is going to become one of the most important concepts in how we think about human work and human meaning. Marcus already knew this 11 years ago. He just didn't have a name for it. Elena doesn't carve. She works in tech, Figma, Slack, Notion, Zoom. But last Christmas, she gave her father a carving kit. Her father is 63. He retired 2 years ago and didn't know what to do with himself. He'd worked his whole life, and suddenly there was no structure, no output, nothing to show for his days. He carved every day that January, every single day. By February, he'd carved something for every grandchild, and the moment she saw that, her father, making something specific for someone specific, she realized it was the first time in 2 years she'd seen him look like himself. In a world where you can order anything in 2 hours, where you can download anything, the things that require time and attention become rare, and rare things become precious. Let me bring in some science, because we think it explains all 3 of these stories. Researcher Claudia Hammond and her team surveyed over 18,000 people across 135 countries. They asked a simple question: what activities make you feel most rested and restored? The results were surprising. Number 5 on the list, doing creative work, which sounds like an oxymoron. Work that rests you. What they found is that the kind of rest our minds actually need is not passive. It's not Netflix. It's not scrolling tasks where you can see your progress. Tasks that produce something real. Sound familiar? The human hand has more nerve endings per square centimeter than almost any other part of the body. When you work with your hands, when you feel resistance, texture, weight, temperature, you're flooding your nervous system with sensory data. Your brain interprets this as, I am doing something real. We think that's why when people try carving for the first time, or pyrography, or leatherwork, or any craft that uses the hands, so many of them say the same thing.
I didn't expect it to feel like that.
They didn't expect to feel focused. They didn't expect to make something real and feel proud of it. They expected a hobby. They found something that felt more like a reset. Here's what we believe is actually happening. We are in the early stages of a cultural correction. For 20 years, we've been told that the future is digital, that convenience is the highest value, that speed matters most, and those things are good. But humans are not machines. We have a need, not a preference, a need to make things, to leave marks, to create objects that exist in the physical world and say,
a human being was here, and they made this.
AI can generate 1,000 images in the time it takes you to make 1 spoon, but the spoon is yours. We started this video with a question. Why are people returning to handmade in the age of AI? We think the answer is because making things with your hands is one of the few experiences that can't be automated. Not because the object can't be replicated, but because the act of making it, the hours, the attention, the mistakes, that's yours. If you're somewhere in the middle of thinking about this, whether you already make things or you've been meaning to start for a while, check out some of our videos on the channel. And if this video made you think about something, leave a comment. I genuinely read them. I'm curious what you think. Make something this week.